come up with my own, it'd have been different. But I was trying to think the James style, and I was trying to remember your words, and it fucked me all up.
So you were trying to do my see, Casey. It's where you got to learn, man. You know, it's not about being like the star, man. You got to come up with your own, become your own star.
I get it, but I didn't want to get off brand too much and, just wreck the whole show.
Try it out.
No.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Dirty and Driven Podcast. This is somewhat special edition. Recording on a beautiful rainy Sunday morning in downtown Ponca City. This is the show where we bring people to the blue-collar world, teach them how to kick ass. Our goal, mission here is to gain, train, and retain solid, hard-working people in the blue-collar construction trades. And to do that, we entertain you. We talk about life. We talk about the problems blue-collar people face in the blue-collar world. And we talk about everything else under the sun. So if this is your first time listening, welcome. And also, I'm joined, first of all, as always, by the wonderful, talented, melting because he's so sweet in the rain out there, Casey D.
I was just checking the forecast because we actually had some relief going on right now from the sweltering heat. And the next 10 days, we might get up to 98 degrees. But aside from that, dude, we got us a nice little cooling trend going on right now. How are you?
Yeah, dude, it's 78 degrees instead of 107 degrees, and I'm happy about it, right?
Yeah. Gives the AC a little break, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My house was freezing this morning.
I love it, man.
Yeah, it was nice. And we are also joined by special guest Dbo of the Lynch Mob or something like that.
I don't know about any Lynch Mob, but good morning.
You got that. I don't know. I met a guy one time, and he called himself T-Bone, the Lynch Mob. I thought of that. Ain't no Lynch Mob. Who was the Lynch Mob? Was that Ice Cube?
I don't know. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
In case you Google that.
I'm not going to claim to know that one.
Yeah. I think that was I think you had NWA and all that, and then I think you had the Lynch Mob.
It says
and
Lynch
I think
Mob,
that was
Ice Cube, the Lynch Mob.
The Lynch Mob. And I think you had a guy in there named T-Bone. I don't know.
Let's look up members here.
The 90s.
Ice Cube, Sir Jinx, Dell the Funky, T-Bone.
T-Bone.
And T-Bone is almost whiter than me. Or he could be a light-skinned.
Uh-huh. Interesting. He's got a cool hat.
Cam, KD, Yolanda Whitaker, Malky, JD again, and Shawty.
A lot of JDs. They're all JD and then Ice Cube.
Yeah, there was a JD from 1989 to 93. Then there was, he was a former member. Then there was another JD on vocals from 90 to 95. So,
okay.
So it was kind of like the Van Halen, Van Hagar type of JDs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So different.
I don't know if I like the original JD or the Van Hagar.
Yeah.
JD.
Which Ice Cube era are you? Which JD are you?
90s rap game was a lot of ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Cube.
the 90s rap.
Cube, T, and vanilla.
Yeah. Cold, man. Cold ass rap.
That old Vanilla Ice. Have you looked at any of his stuff lately? Like his entrepreneurial, whatever it is, lifestyle?
One time a few years ago, we ought to have him on the show. He
seems to be doing it, man.
Dude, I don't know what he's doing now, but I know that a few years ago, I remember I was sick as shit home from school. This is in high school, so this is probably 10 years ago. I was sick and I was home, and I don't know, I guess my mom was just staying home. She didn't normally watch TV, so I don't know, we were looking for something to watch or something. I was just laying on the couch, and it was a home remodeling show hosted by Vanilla Ice.
Well, he's still big into that. like real estate. Yeah, you ought to check out some of his stuff. I mean, I know you might stereotype him for his being a whatever rapper, but he's got a lot of good advice out there.
There's a pretty cool story about him. When Ice Ice Baby came out, that's when the sampling, like there was all the court cases and stuff about sampling because he used Queen's song or whatever.
Pressure.
And then all of a sudden it just went away. But you know why it went away?
Why?
Because he found out how much the rights to that song Pressure was, and it was like $2 million, so he just bought it.
Oh,
so
really?
he owns the rights to both.
I'll be damn.
Wait, so he bought like the rights to that like bass line or whatever?
Yeah, so he owns both songs, so now he makes money no matter who's.
What the world? He owns the rights to Under Pressure?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's probably, I guess you could debate on which one's bigger, but I feel like Under Pressure might be bigger.
I don't know.
Under Pressure's getting played still, on a pretty high rotation.
I feel like that's a timeless song. Like Ice Ice Baby, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, you've worked in a high school for the last several years. Are they still into Ice Ice Baby?
Hey, if it comes on,
that's what I'm saying.
Teachers and students are singing along. So.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is it still timeless?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going to get people on the dance floor? Pressure. A bunch of goofballs on that song.
I mean, Ice Ice Baby is definitely going to get you on the dance floor. But Under Pressure, I mean, if that comes on, man, you can't deny that one.
Did you ever hear whenever Vanilla Ice had the accusations that he stole the Pressure, and he goes, no, I didn't. In Under Pressure it goes ding 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 ding. Mine goes ding 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 ding. So see, it's different.
It's a little faster too. You know? Just slightly.
Yeah.
Word to your mother.
Word to your mother. Huh. Wow. Yeah, he'd be a good one. Let's get him on here to talk about home remodeling.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's that easy to get Vanilla Ice. He's probably looking for any gig he can.
Rob Van Winkle.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I remember he was on a cartoon, Fairly Odd Parents. They did a whole bit about him. And they walked up and they're like, have you seen, I don't know who they're looking for, but they're like, have you seen Timmy? And they were asking, and she's like, I asked Vanilla Ice. And then she just looks at him and it like pans over and it's a van that says nice carpets. She goes, carpet cleaning now. Nice. That is exactly what I thought of.
Yeah, back when that came out, that was when the old MC Hammer pants, the puffy pants.
Heck yeah.
Remember those things?
Heck yeah.
Did you ever have any?
No.
I had parachute
cool
pants,
enough.
but that was before that time. That was kind of Michael Jackson era.
Oh, you were a parachute pants hipster?
Yeah, well, my stepmom at the time never would buy any of them for me because they were expensive. They were like, back then they were $60 or $80 a pair, but they had, the zippers, all of them. And they were made from thinner material than these True Works that I have on.
Oh, really?
And I think I told you about it, but she finally bought me a pair. Don't you, whatever. Went into gym class like in 3rd or 4th grade, and I did the old, sliding across the floor for like a wiffle ball or something. And, the gym floors, it just ripped a big old hole right in the knees of it. And sure enough, that first day that I wore them.
Ruined them already.
Yeah,
huh?
I got in trouble.
You should have just added another zipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, just zip them back up. What are you thinking?
Yeah, like battle scars.
Yeah. Okay, so put that in perspective. Whenever a pair of parachute pants was $60, what was a pair of jeans back then? Just like regular old jeans.
I'm sure they were only like probably, $20?
I don't know, man.
I would guess 15 or 20. I would guess.
I didn't do a whole lot of shopping back then. So.
Well, we'll tell you kind of a cool story about denim jeans. Back, let's see, and I can throw out numbers here. In the late 80s, almost 1990, the Russian wrestling team came over, and I might have told you this. They come over and they put on a clinic at the high school. And so we all went up there.
Like the Russian Olympic team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Seriously.
And what year?
It was about 1990, because 1989 or 90, because I remember, because I think I was on.
Wasn't that like during the Cold War?
89, that ended, right?
Oh, so like it just ended and they're like, yeah, bring them over. Let's take some gold medals.
Regardless, that they came over. I ain't making this shit up. That they came over, and
That's wild.
and we heard that they were up here at the deal. And while they were up there, they brought over a bunch of trinkets and this and that, but they brought over like a bunch of watches and stuff, like Russian watches and shit. But the commodity, the thing that they really wanted from the U.S. was denim jeans. So we heard about that. So we went back to my house and I got, my little fucking denim jeans and my dad's jeans. And I came back with 3 or 4 or 5 pair and traded that to them for like a couple watches and stuff. And they gave us, and I still wish I had that damn Russian watch that he gave me. But we all were giving them denim jeans and they were giving us stuff in trade, kind of like a little bartering deal.
Russian watches made in China.
There was 13 numbers on there.
Yeah. What was crazy was like, I remember on the back side of the Russian watch, like inside of like the band, it said, "Help me, please get me out of here." They had stitched that into the band.
Damn.
I fucking made that up, dude.
Oh.
You hear about the Chinese slave labor to where when they make stuff, they say, "Please, get us out of here." You haven't heard of any of that?
I guess I just thought that was the brand of shorts I was wearing.
Yeah,
but,
please get me out of here. Yeah. Man, these things are tight.
Russians can make anything out of broken vodka bottles and cigarette butts.
Oh yeah, dude, I know a lady that's Russian, and she grew up there and through college, and she's a doctor now, and lives here and everything.
Like a real doctor or a Russian doctor?
Like a real doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, she had to like start over because she had gone through like college in Russia and was like halfway through medical school, and then she had a chance to get out and move to the U.S. Well, she took that chance and moved to the U.S. And the caveat was you have to restart medical school totally. And, from square one, she didn't speak English very well, if at all. I don't even know if she did at all. And she had to totally start over on her college and schooling and all that. And still went through it and everything.
It's a dedication.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. She's got some stories that unless she told you, you'd never realized what some of those people went through back then, man. And probably still go through in a lot of countries today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're truly blessed here in the States.
Dude, what are you talking about? It's like the worst fucking country ever.
No, yeah, it's awful.
I've heard about it before, but you can look at like any situation in life, but we hit the, geographical lottery on just luckily we were born in the U.S. Can you imagine being born in some shithole?
You ever heard the stories about like North Korea?
What about it?
Well, just like, have you ever heard somebody like get on and talk about like living in North Korea?
Well, I heard that one girl that was on Rogan's podcast that had escaped North Korea. Listen to her.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the stories that she has and others that have kind of spoken out. Not many of them have spoken out because, I think she's kind of a target to the North Koreans now for speaking out like that. But
well, imagine the propaganda that we know that kind of goes on right now. We have access to information at our fingertips right now, but we know it's still it wants to be controlled by the uppers. Imagine being over in North Korea to where literally you have state sponsored, this is what you see, and you have nothing to the outside world. This is all your info. They have no clue what's going on outside.
I think that does kind of go on here.
That's what I'm saying. But we're at a micro scale. You know what I mean? We're just a little tidbit.
They get very little. We've got information all the time on our phones.
Right.
And you can, although there is a lot of things that are censored, filtered, whatever you want to call it, fact checked. They don't have anything like that. They don't even have power. They said they get power like maybe a couple times a month.
But what if that's like good propaganda on the United States parts? Us thinking that North Korea is like an iron fist and shitty and they don't have power and they don't have... What if they have all of that? They need a boogeyman. They need a bad guy.
Right.
So,
yeah, and you never know, man, right?
Yeah, it could be way better than the U.S. over there.
I always like to hear Kim Jong-un's like statistics on like his sports. Have you ever heard any of the stories about that?
No, but I do know that he loves basketball, right?
I've heard that after the Olympics, he'll tell all the people that they won.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I know that his first time golfing, he had 11 hole-in-ones. His first time bowling, he perfect game, man. Like he's unbelievable.
Yeah, you can't fucking beat the guy that pays your bills, you know?
Exactly.
The old changing the rules, changing. Yeah. Well, no, I actually won. You didn't hit a single pin when you were bowling. Oh no, that's good.
We're trying to dodge them.
Yeah, yeah. He's probably got some guy that he's got a baseball bat standing down there by the bowling pins at the end of the lane. He just gutter balls it, and the guy just smashes it with a bat. Knocks them all over.
Yeah, I can see his guys. He tees off on a par 3 or even a par 5, right? He hits a shitty one into the woods, and one of the guys takes the ball and sticks it in the hole before he gets up there. And would you look at that? A hole in one on a par 5.
They already have a ball. His balls are already in the holes before he even gets out there.
Yeah.
I hit another hole in one.
Yeah, he just shanks it way right every time into the trees, and you go, and it's, there's my ball. Titleist number 4. There we go.
It's teed up perfectly in the rough. It's like sitting right on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. To Casey's point about just we kind of hit the lottery by being born in the United States. A lot of countries don't like us very much. And I think one of the biggest things that we overlook, and this really hit me when because you learn everything from memes nowadays. But I think the real reason a lot of countries don't like us is because of water.
Water.
We have it.
We have it.
I saw a meme in
unless you're in Flint.
Yeah, some like third world country, and the kid's getting water out of like this dirty pond or whatever. Right. And it just said, "You mean you have so much clean water you poop in it?"
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And it just that like hit me hard. Yeah. Like we live in a country where we water our yards.
Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, even go to Mexico. You know what I mean? Like if you want water, they deliver it. I mean, if you go stay in an Airbnb or a hotel or something in Mexico, you're not just drinking out the tap, right? I mean, you've seen all the jokes about, I'd rather drink Mexican tap water than, do this. Like, yeah, they have to deliver, reverse osmosis water or whatever, because that's the only way they got clean water. Yeah, and that's in big touristy areas. Imagine the not touristy areas.
Yeah, and then when you look at us, we have backyards where we have swimming pools that we fill up with perfectly clean water, and then we make it undrinkable.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go swim in it.
Yeah.
I kind of get why they hate us.
It's as Kim Jong-un said, they hate us because they ain't us.
I don't think so.
That was in The Dictator. He's like, no, they hate us because they ain't us. And he was like, they hate us because they ain't us?
Did you see that Mr. Beast deal to where he went and did like, it's either 100 or 1,000, I can make up a number, wells over in somewhere in Africa?
I heard about it.
He does a lot of good with his money, man.
Yeah.
And his machine is so good on putting out videos. Dude, because you ever watch any of his stuff?
No, I haven't. I know he's the biggest YouTuber in the world. Yeah,
you can't click on something without it being captivating to watch it till the end. It's just well put together, and literally he'll post it, and within a few hours it'll have 100 million views.
It's crazy.
It's that good. But anyway, he does a lot of good I can't even say it. Philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
Tongue.
Yeah, close enough for me.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what the fuck I'm talking about.
He does a lot of physical therapy, yes.
So then you got places like over in the Middle East, the Dubai areas, to where they have the big desalination plants.
Yeah.
To where it costs a piss pot of electricity, but they got money because of their oil, but they'll take the salt out of the water and make it drinkable.
Did you guys see what the French people did? So you guys know the Paris Olympics is coming up, right? My wife was telling me about this. I'm sure I'll butcher some details, but I didn't even know that the Olympics were happening. I didn't, honestly. The Olympics are something that anymore don't really excite me. I feel like the last two of them, it just, everything's gotten so, I don't know, political around it and everything. It's just not as fun to watch anymore now that there's just a lot of stupid stuff with it. But anyways, we're going to do all the swimming events, and what's the name of that river going through Paris? Do you guys know? I can't remember. You're talking about dirty water and pooping in it and all that. Well, there's this one river running through there. I mean, it's kind of like the Hudson River, just, you're like, ew, that's gross. It's not safe to swim in. So I guess the French government made all these promises like, oh yeah, we're going to have this and that and all this for the Olympics and everything. Well, a lot of people are like, dude, we ain't we ain't going to have that. Like, it ain't going to be ready. That's unrealistic. So they said, we're going to clean up the river for this. And all the French people are like, no, it's unrealistic that you're going to do that. And the athletes are like, ew, I don't want to swim in that river. That's gross. And so the mayor of Paris and the, I don't think he's called president, but the president of France. Prime Minister. Yeah. Something like that. And the Prime Minister of France, the river Seine,
Seine, S-E-I-N-E.
Yeah, I guess it's been really dirty. So there was a date when this episode comes out 2 weeks ago. The Prime Minister and the mayor were going to swim in the river to prove it's clean. And everybody's like, nah, well, I guess all these French people geared up and like hundreds, thousands of them went on the day that they were supposed to like jump in and swim in it to prove that it was clean. They all went and just took a massive shit in the river. Just to prove a point that like, fuck you guys.
Kind of like how the people, the whatever developers of glyphosate like Roundup, well, drink it then if you think it's safe.
Yeah. No, dude. Oh, damn. It's really raining out there now.
Yeah.
The French people have been pretty unhinged lately. I think they were also the ones that took the manure. All the farmers, they were trying to raise taxes on fertilizer and stuff. So they just took a bunch of manure and just spread it around the cities.
Sadly, it didn't stink any worse than it already does.
Yeah. Dude, France.
What sucks is when people do that, then it's their taxpayer money. They're creating jobs, I guess, to clean that shit up. So they're paying to get it.
Literally cleaning that shit up.
Well, but I mean, how else do you revolt? I mean, you're showing that, hey, we're not afraid to take a stand. And I mean, dude, in America, if that happened, we just go, oh, fucking Biden, man. That fucking sucks, dude. They're actually out there like, nah, we've had enough. I mean, if I was a politician, I had a bunch of angry farmers spreading manure all over the city, I'd be scared because I know if one of them caught me in the street, I'd be getting my ass whooped.
Creating jobs.
Yeah. It probably actually made France smell better, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you were saying.
Man, y'all are really hating on France, dude.
Dude, you ever met French people? They're not just fucking delights. Whenever I played rugby, we played rugby with these couple of French guys. One of them wasn't too bad. One of them, his name was Tony. He was such a little prick, dude. He was always like pretty boy, hair always done perfect, always cleats always shiny, and he just anytime he got hit, he'd be like, that was a high hit, and then he'd just get leveled and just destroyed, and he'd just always be pissed about something, and he'd always be talking shit, and he was always in a bad mood, man. Like, and every French person I know is just like that. They just complain a lot. Nothing's good enough for them. And they're very rude.
They kind of remind me of, the little mouthy guy that, picks a fight and then we got to come bail him out.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah.
That's them for sure. And also one time I was on a Air France flight. I haven't been to France, but I flew through France one time. I was going from London to Rome and there was a layover, or not even really a layover, but just a quick stopover in Connection in France. Dude, I hopped on that flight and it was all French people. I mean, it smelled like shit and Ralph Lauren all in one. It was like a Hollister store,
a sweet and sour
mixed with just absolute bongo hole, man. Yeah. It was gross.
Yeah, it's the same deal as if someone, here goes poo again. If you have a real good poo and it stinks, then you spray the foo-foo to kill the stink. Now you got a sweet and sour,
Well, they could just shower,
Back to that water thing.
Yeah. Turns out they do shower, but it's with that water. Huh.
Have y'all ever bought one of them water filtration systems that you can use, in a river or whatever and be able to drink it?
I have not.
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, not the big ones, but I have these little ones. They're called a Sawyer Mini. I travel with them, just to kind of.
But have you ever used those in just some raw water from the lake and then?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. I mean, I'll try to find somewhat clear water. Like, I'm not going out to Call Lake and doing it with that freaking red, muddy water. But, if I had to, I would. But, I mean.
I didn't know if you had a real life, real scenario like that.
Yeah.
and tried it.
Yeah, we went to North Carolina last year, and where we were staying, we rented a little Airstream trailer. It was like $100 for the weekend. It's sweet. It was on its own little piece of land. It had a little stream running through it, and I took it out there and I filtered out that water. I usually use it like if I go like to Mexico, or if I go even just staying in hotels and stuff. You know, some of them just have such hard water that it's good to filter a lot of stuff out.
Man, you said the river runs through it. That remind me back in Brad Pitt days.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That was when he's still a hunk, but dude. And what's the other one? Legends of the Fall.
Oh yeah.
Tristan Ludlow. Holy shit, dude.
You know, I've never seen the movie. I've read the book, but never saw
Which one?
River Runs Through It.
That's a good one. And
I don't
dude,
know that I've ever watched the movie.
and Legends of the Fall. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
I always feel
It's a
like
good
Brad Pitt, he might not be like the best actor in the world, but he always plays like the coolest
Oh, dude.
character, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
he can't.
like Seven. Seven's like one of the greatest
Yeah.
movies of all time.
You seen Seven?
No.
Oh my God.
About the 7 deadly sins, like the whole movie, it kind of captures it,
Yes.
each part of the movie.
A serial killer killing by the 7 deadly sins. Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt are the detectives.
Okay. They got
And-
6, the musical, across the street at that theater. 6 and 7.
I bet
Yeah.
you they're about the same.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
late night showing. It's for the kids. The 6 is for the kids, and later on it's for the adults.
Yeah. You don't even want to wait till they get to 8. Oh, that was bad.
8 Mile.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I tried to save it with 8 Mile, but see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Dbo, man, you're special ed teacher, and you were in high school, and now you're more out of high school, helping them just transition into life, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. A lot of times when people hear special ed, you know, they think Special Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've taught for 25 years. So I've taught the emotionally behavioral kids. I've taught, you know, but the last 2 years, I kind of took over the transition portion, which is getting kids ready for adult life,
Mm-hmm.
jobs, things of that nature. And so, like you said, I'm moving out of the high school and going into the adult transition. So my biggest thing is just provide purpose for a kid.
That's cool, man. I love helping. I love seeing people find their purpose, you know. Anywhere it is. I mean, like, obviously we talk a lot about finding purpose in the trades, helping people find purpose, you know, in that regards, but it's so cool to help anybody find their way in life, you know, whether it be like you're saying, you know, somebody with special needs who doesn't necessarily know what to do or where to go. And just helping them find a way and be productive members of society, man. That's cool.
There's no, I went to a conference a couple of years ago, and one of the presenters was talking about, didn't have anything to do with people with disabilities or anything like that, but like '08 got laid off, and somehow started working at like a day where people with disabilities go just to spend the day. Anyway, and from there, he was telling a story about these 2 boys that would take apart computers, and he was at some Christmas party telling some people, just randos, this, and these 2 people called and said, "I want to fund you," and so that's what they do. He has like a laptop recycling. Mm-hmm. Anyway, long story short, he made a comment that really hit me, and he just said, you know, as a high school student, and this doesn't mean for special ed, this is for all teachers out there and parents. You really need to get the kid as independent as possible while you have them, because they're going to live 60 more years. And that's a long time to sit on an iPad.
Yeah.
And like, man, that hit me. So that changed everything I did in my classroom. Like, what skill, when I walk into Walmart and I see someone stocking shelves, I'm like, I can redo that in my classroom and teach a kid how to face and how to stock shelves. And so that's kind of drives everything. So
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I mean, that's what it takes, dude. I like highlighting that because, I mean, for one, I mean, obviously you've been a big proponent of what we do, which I think is awesome. You know, you've been showing kind of opportunities for the trades and stuff to them and some of your students, which is absolutely incredible that we're seeing some of that exposure in the schools for the trades. And I mean, not even necessarily just specific to us, but just the trades in general. But being able to emulate that stuff and say, man, we can do that and we can teach that. Like, I feel like that's just real hard skills that you're teaching in a classroom. And that's something that you don't see a lot.
Right. That pendulum you guys talk about all the time, that everybody's going to college. I think it's starting to come back.
Yeah.
It's slowly, you're seeing in the schools that we need to get back to the trades. We need to get back to, so it's probably going to take forever to happen, but it's good to see because, I have a lot of students who, they read at a third grade level, but they think they're going to Texas Tech, and probably not going to Texas Tech.
Dude, it's scary how many people can't read very well at all. I mean, it is absolutely terrifying, the degradation of people being able to read in our society.
Yeah, and I mean, as a reluctant reader myself, like growing up, now I know I was dyslexic. I didn't know that then, but I hated to read. So like we were talking about books the other day, and I was like, I'm not going to read this one, but I heard you probably like it, so I'm not going to read it. But you can tell me about it later.
Yeah, I'll wait for the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So where you taught, is there shop classes still?
Man, they have their career and technical classes, but they're more computerized. Yeah. We do have welding, stuff like that, but not necessarily like.
Is that a separate entity though, or is that part of the school?
It's part of the school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering because I've noticed, because that's been the big thing. I mean, I've heard Mike Rowe say it on a lot of podcasts. I've heard several other big name type people like that going, "Oh, we don't have shop class anymore. That's a problem." And I feel like we're starting to see them come back. I know here in Ponca, they just built a big new building and it's got some shops. I don't know what kind of shops. I know they've got the equipment for like, high-end wood shops and metal shops and stuff like that. I mean, we have the Pioneer Tech, which is a technical school, a VOTech. So there's kind of that. Yeah, I was just wondering how other schools are. I've heard of other schools starting to put shop classes back in, but I didn't know where, especially what that looked like in Texas. So
yeah. The school district I'm in, they have different academies. I know they have like a aviation, mechanics academy, but you have to go to a different school. So that kind of deters some kids. Like, you grew up with all your friends. Mm-hmm. We should go to high school together, but I really want this program, Do I go to a different school for this, or
like totally different school, like all day?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I feel like that. I wish that we could sway that better in our country. Like, some countries do it to where, all right, if you're going to college, then this is the route you're going to go, and you kind of determine this your sophomore year. Here in Ponca, we kind of do that. I mean, they give you the option of, if you want to go to the Pioneer Tech after your sophomore year, you can spend half the time there, half time in high school, half time there. I think some kids go full time there if that's just the route that they're on. But some countries do it to where, okay, freshman, sophomore year, everybody's in the same gen ed classes or advanced classes or whatever. If you're going to if you're going to go to college after this, you're going to stay in the scholarly route and do the scholarly stuff. If you are not going to go to college, you're going to go learn a trade. And that's just how it's going to be. And, we'll do some tests to see your best fit and get after it, So what you're saying, like, that kind of deters some kids. I almost wish, you can't make anybody do anything, but I wish that was like somehow pressed or encouraged or almost required that, if you're not going to go to the college route, then you really need to start pushing towards these other school entities, academies, whatever you call them.
Yeah, like the VOTech deal. I remember back in high school, because they had that then, right?
Oh yeah.
But we still kind of had shop then too, didn't we?
Yeah.
But
out there by JD's classroom.
Yeah. But I don't remember. I barely even remember the VOTech being pushed at all. You kind of heard about it. Maybe it was an option, but it was just not. I mean, it was kind of like a fleeting. But instead of maybe really letting you know, like you said, if you're not a college guy, or if that's not your plan, then really stress, hey, this is a good alternative if you're not going to go this route. I just knew VOTech was just kind of over here, and that was that.
Right. Yeah. I know, like with my class, I have a a class. It's called College Transition, but it's for kids with special ed or that are in special ed, usually, learning disability, dyslexia, something like that. That I always joke that the greatest thing about this class is it talks kids out of college, just because a lot of times kids want to go to college because their friends are going to college, because mom and dad want them to go to college. They want, but they have no goal or aim. They don't. What do you want to be?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
That was me.
Then why are you going to college? And so I preach that, and I think I shared with you, one of my students, their project at the end of the year was, what do you want to do what's next year going to look like? And I mean, he was all trade school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think the options, like, they know the options are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, is getting people exposed to it. And I've noticed, and I mean, this isn't supposed to sound conspiratorial or anything like that, but it probably will come out a little bit like that. But, you're starting to see a bigger push for trade schools. You really are. I mean, I've seen it in the media. I've seen a lot of like big articles about it. I've seen politicians talking about it. You see a lot of trade school talk. You don't see a lot of straight to work talk or, on the job training talk or anything like that. And then I was talking to some higher ups of the state of Oklahoma several weeks ago, and I was like, they were really, we're promoting trade schools and this and that and the other. And I realized that, like, Oklahoma State, they're starting to get more. They already had technical programs, but they're starting to get more of them. Like, they just opened up a linesman program, and they're doing more and more. And then I realized, they're finally pushing trade schools from a political level, a state level, because they finally figured out how to make money on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not private institutions or anything like that. It's state-funded institutions that you're paying your tuition to.
Well, how can you monetize this thing now?
The traditional college university model it's got to be going away. I mean, I remember I went to Northern Oklahoma College my first 2 years, and I remember I went from Ponca City High School. I can't remember the coach's name, but government class. And then the next semester I was at NOC, same exact textbook, same exact everything. Like, if I just kept my notes from high school, like, what a waste of time.
Yeah. Like you told me, the initial 2-year degree out of high school is just a repeat.
Right.
It's a refresher course of what you learned your senior year in high school.
Was that Mr. Hedgecoth?
No.
No, you said it was a coach.
No.
Oh, you're right.
The great Hedgecoth.
We always called him Coach Hedgecoth, and he'd piss him slap off.
Casey and I were in the Vietnam War class, and we called him Charlie.
At one point, whenever I was in high school days,
I never thought of that.
Somebody made a Twitter page called Party
good.
Like Charlie.
Yeah.
Never thought about that, but
Called him Charlie in Vietnam class.
Charlie was the name of the North Vietnamese.
Yeah. That class, I didn't know Casey really that well at that time. I'm a year younger than him, like, grade wise. And he sat like 2 behind me. And I remember every time, like, back in the day, they didn't have phones in the classroom. So, like, someone got a pass to the counselor's office or whatever, and the office aide would walk in, and she'd be female. And there was one girl in the whole class that she is a little more manly than most of us in there.
Butch.
And Casey'd be like, girl.
Yeah, there were no girls, like you said, whatsoever in our class. So anytime a girl would walk in with a note for the teacher or something, it'd be.
You were just like, damn, look at that.
Like a bunch of, prisoners, know.
Dude, that's something. Whenever we toured the county jail here a month or two ago, and they literally told the girls that were like with us, they're like, hey, don't wear anything revealing at all. A lot of these guys haven't seen a woman in a long time.
That's kind of what that class was like. The only other thing I remember from that class, I mean, that was probably my favorite class I ever took.
Yeah.
It was the hardest class I ever took, without, like, hands down. Like, it was so hard. But I was impressed with Hedgecoth because you could see his passion.
Yes.
Like, he made, I mean, he had no curriculum. He just made it up, and it was a phenomenal class.
Yeah, that was my favorite class too, because it was interesting also,
Yeah.
That's the deal. If you're interested, damn, I can't even talk this morning, in the subject, then it makes it that much more funner to learn, and that was Very interesting.
I think you'll probably remember this story, but and I won't I'll protect the person in the story. But last day of class, final, someone next to you, I think, leaned over and said, "Hey, who's Ho Chi Minh?"
Who's Ho Chi? Yeah. You had to help him along.
Like, you mean the one person we've talked about by name this whole semester,
dude?
And he was the North Vietnamese
Yeah, he was the leader.
Then the Ho Chi Minh Trail was the main trail that they used to.
Yeah, and then Saigon became Ho Chi Minh City.
And just like that, this turned into a Vietnam history podcast. Talked a lot about communism today.
Yeah.
I guess it's because
hey, we're one vote away from, one more term from this being straight communist country. So
this is I don't know. It's funny. So this will come out the Tuesday after the 4th of July. So freedom, baby. About to go pop a machine gun off on camera here and wave the American flag around.
Let's go blow some stuff up.
Yeah. Last night I was grilling burgers in the bed of my truck. I had my.
Oh, did you take the grill?
I took that black snow. It's currently just getting absolutely poured on right now in the bed of my truck still because it's too heavy for me to unload. But I was out there just sunburnt as hell, shirt off, just grilling burgers in the bed of my truck. Somebody walked up to me and they're like, "This is the most redneck American thing I think I've ever seen in my life." And I was like, "Good. I think that's a compliment."
Just wait.
Yeah.
Did you see that meme? I think I might have shared you with the guy that was cooking hot dogs on his antenna on his truck. It's hot out, and he stuck all the hot dogs on the antenna.
Yeah.
That's ingenious, man.
Just on a 100-degree day. It's they'll be nice and air fried by the time you get home.
Just peel the bugs off of it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just pick the bugs out and you're good to go.
Does this year, and I know that it could be a recency bias, as in, since it's just happening, you think this is the worst year ever, but it seems like this year is probably one of the worst years, like with storms, like hail and all that shit.
I've been saying that too. I've never seen so many hailstorms in a year.
And here goes my conspiracy route, because I've got to. I've got to. Insurance rates are already through the roof, and they're literally going to be worse with all this catastrophic shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
But you've seen the weather modification stuff like they do over in the Middle East, to where they do the cloud seeding. And, I was talking about that with creating rain with that. Well, they've been saying that for quite a while now with the supposed chemtrails and stuff going on here. It's just now becoming more abundant. And I seem to think that maybe there's a lot of this government cloud seeding weird stuff going on right now. Because, dude, the hailstorms are like gargantuan hailstorms, huge tornadoes. And I can't remember a time since I've been alive that stuff has been as bad as it is now. Am I onto something, or am I just smoking?
No, I think you're onto something.
Did you see that? I think Tennessee made a deal to where there can't be any type of weather modification in the state over the state of Tennessee. They literally came out with a law saying no flying, none of that cloud seeding shit over our state.
Huh. Purple rain.
Playing God's pretty scary.
Yeah.
You
don't do that. Doesn't end well for people.
Yep.
Does not end well for people.
So you didn't want to go off on that? You're just going to leave that?
I'm going to just leave that hanging right there.
Well, think about it, people. Think about it when your insurance rates go up again.
Yeah.
Your vote counts.
Well, they are
November.
talking about how FEMA is running out of money because of how many natural disasters have happened this year.
Well, you just print more money and give it to...
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can't fix our own stuff, but we'll fix other countries' stuff. All right, that's all I got on that one. We won't rabbit hole too hard on that.
Damn.
I kind of like to just leave it out there, let you throw out into the ether for the people to think about and chew on.
Just kind of marinate for a while.
Yeah. It's kind of like you go and you kind of kick the shovel, kind of turn just an inch of dirt up, and then you're like, man, fuck this, it's too hot. I don't want to dig this hole. And then you just walk away. Just leave it.
So did you watch the debates the other day?
No.
It was great.
I literally have not seen one clip from the debate.
Well, it was great TV. It was great TV, and
I'm sure.
Oh, hold on, but I'm gonna say something. I know you want to try to go astray from it, but let me tell you something. One of the questions was former convicted President Trump. What is your views on the current state of climate change and the rising sea levels and shit. And I'm thinking, have you seen that here goes memes again showing Plymouth Rock back when it was supposedly done, the sea level than today, Plymouth Rock. I'm at the level, the ocean is the exact same. Mm-hmm. The rising sea levels haven't risen a half inch since Plymouth Rock was put right there. And then today.
I thought you were going to go with the true debate on whose golf game was better.
Yeah, that was the best. Did you hear that shit?
When I was vice president, I was a 6 handicap. You were not 6 handicap. That's a lie.
Yeah. So during the debate, Biden was Biden, and for some reason he is talking about when I was vice president. Like he said, I had a 6 handicap is.
But this is an actual conversation.
During the deal. So it went off the rails a little bit, and they were talking about who was better playing golf. And Trump looks over, he goes, dude, I've seen your swing. You can't hit it 50 yards. And they were just.
I will challenge you at golf.
I'll challenge you, and you'll have to carry my bag.
You'll have to carry your own bag. But really, that was the.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was good TV, man.
Man, that's so embarrassing for our country.
It was.
I mean, that's why I couldn't watch it, dude. I just knew it was going to piss me off if I watched it.
It wasn't pissed off. It was great TV.
You know what I did?
My wife and I were actually enjoying it.
Have you ever seen the meme? It was like somewhere out there's some poor sap sitting by a waterfall, his phone off, and he has no idea how scared he's supposed to be right now.
I saw it.
That was me that evening. I was out there on the lake. 2 of my good buddies, we were out kayaking. I'm training for a kayak race right now. And we were out there. I got them talked into it too. One of them never even kayaked before, and I was like, let's do it. And so we go out to the lake, and we were kayaking. And then I was like, oh, yeah, the debate's on today. I was like, fuck it. We're having a good time out here. And that's what I did.
James and his fringe sports.
My fringe sports. Yeah.
Fringe sports.
Fringe sports. No, I just did it. It looked fun. They're putting it on. Whenever this episode comes out, it will have already happened, and I will have already won.
Well, congratulations.
And thank you. And I will have won a $1,700 pizza oven.
Oh, sweet.
That's what's up for first prize.
But people competing against James, even though this will come out after the deal, I'm going to probably reach out to them personally, because if we might sabotage James's canoe.
Oh, they've already talked about it.
Yeah.
They've already talked about it. It's funny because I signed up, and then I talked to a couple other people. I was like, hey, you guys should do this too. And they're like, okay, well, it was almost about to get canceled because they were like, yeah, there's only 6 people who have signed up for it. So I talked to the person putting it on. I was like, yo, keep it open. I was like, I'll see what I can do. So I drum up. I was like, I don't want any ringers. No athletic people are allowed to do this. Well, I got one of my buddies to sign up, and he's never kayaked before. And we went out one day, and I was like, okay, he's no competition. Well, he knows a lot of people, and he starts, hey, you guys should do it, da-da-da-da-da. And then him and I start trash talking each other on Facebook. Well, then a whole bunch of people signed up, and they're like, we're going to whoop your ass, James. So I told him I was bringing Roman candles, and it's going to be straight naval warfare.
There you go. In high school, I was part of that Boy Scout group, Post 69. Remember that?
Yeah.
Dude,
I was
what?
Dude, our Boy Scout post number in high school was 69. That was the designated number. And we were just a bunch of beer drinking dudes. Well, we went over to Arkansas, and we had a canoe race against everybody across the U.S. on the is it the White River that's over there?
Something.
That's just below
I never went on
Table
that.
Rock and all that. But it was like 100-mile canoe race, and it was a 3-day deal.
Really?
Yeah, and dude, it was awesome. So,
wait, really? Oh,
yeah.
Dude, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, well, check this out. And you might look into it. This is back in 93, 92, 93-ish. But you had 3 different legs, and each day you had there were 2 guys per canoe. You had the boys novice aluminum, the boys expert aluminum. Then you had the boys novice Kevlar and the boys expert Kevlar, which those were the good guys were in the Kevlar canoes.
Okay.
But I was like a novice aluminum. And we trained a few times out at Ponca Lake, We had a guy in the front and a guy in the back, right? Well, the way these races start, you start like right at the discharge of the dam, and you put in, depending on who does the first, second, and third leg each day. But you would paddle for 12 to 14 miles. You're racing against everybody else, and right once you get done, your next people taking the next leg of that day is meeting you right there on the bank, You hop out, you dump the water out of the boat, then they get in, then you load up in the vehicle and you go down, then the third leg. But it's a 3-day race. And by the time you get done, then the cumulative score of all is over. But you get so far.
So you're tagging in and out. It's like an endurance race.
Yes.
Okay.
But dude, it's a nonstop.
It's like an IMSA endurance, like Le Mans of canoe.
Yeah, but
you just swap drivers and keep going.
But you get your tempo going where the guy in the front is pedaling on the left. You're pedaling. It's 1, 2, 3, switch 1. Dude, it's that driving the whole time you're doing these legs.
Huh.
And by the time you get all the way to the end of the race, you don't have a lot of current because you were up there by the dam discharge, and now you're like in almost dead water. But dude, it was such a great time. I remember that one Boy Scout group from Bogalusa, Louisiana. They came up and they made the best sweet tea they cooked because they had all their Louisiana flavor. It was a good time.
That sounds fun.
The old station wagon with the crudely painted flames on the front.
Was that JD's?
Yeah. To carry the.
Remember JD Hanks?
Yeah.
Well, he was our whatever you call it.
Dude,
the only Boy
he's
Scout.
always getting kids involved in some cool shit, man.
Yeah.
Like really cool shit.
Yeah.
The only Boy Scout group that didn't have uniforms or anything.
You guys pulled up, 16 years old, smoking Marlboro Reds. And
Oh, dude, yeah. Drinking. Yeah.
I remember camping out and you had to box. We had boxing around the fire.
dude, I wish that that's something that I really want to delve into sometime, but just, God, you don't do that shit anymore because it's safety, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you told me to read that book, Anxious Generation, right? And now you tell me, so did you read it or not?
No.
Okay.
I just heard it on the radio. I thought this sounds like some James would listen to.
You're like, oh, okay.
Cliff notes.
You're like, dude, read this book. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And I was like, oh, okay, he's already read it, so I'm reading it. Dude, that's one thing. I'm like halfway through it right now. And that's one thing that they talk about is anymore, the number of injuries in adolescent kids is way down. It's down by like 35% since like 2010. I mean, it was kind of on a steady decline since like the late 90s or like really the early 90s. It was on a pretty slow decline, video games and things like that, keeping kids inside a little bit more. But then, initially you look at it and it's like since 2010, there's far less preteen pregnancies, far less or not preteen pregnancies, but teen pregnancies.
Damn.
We're like Michael Jackson again.
Yeah. There's far less like teen pregnancies. There's far less adolescents getting hurt and going to the hospital, ER visits, and other things like that. And like, you look at these graphs and initially you go, oh, that's great. Right. But then you start looking at it and you're like, no, it's because nobody's getting out and doing shit anymore.
Right.
Nobody's getting out. Like, I mean, whenever I was a kid, they knew me by name at the ER. It was like walking into Cheers or something like that. James, it was fun. You do a lot of stupid things and you hurt yourself and you learn. But I mean, now kids aren't doing that.
Right. They're not taking risk.
Yeah. You're not going 3 days in a kayak or a canoe. You're not taking risk, like you said. You're not putting the night moves on a chick. Yeah, dude.
And risk. I mean, I don't think there's any better like teacher than risk. You're calculating, you're problem solving, you're failing, and failure is a heck of a teacher.
Yeah, your risk versus reward. You know what I mean? Should I do this? Well, why's it get what?
I think that is reflective too in today's workforce. Like to tie everything into the trade somewhat as we kind of start ending our time here. You see a lot of kids, they can't take criticism. They come into the workforce. They can't take criticism. They can't take somebody yelling at them. They can't take a lot of shit like that because they've never been in that situation. I mean, they've never been in a room with a bunch of adults, unsupervised, out there, screwing around. And then now this kid gets mad at this kid and they're duking it out and yelling at each other and arguing and trying to diffuse the situation, or you talk shit to this guy and he hits you in the face. And, and I think that that's one of the things that you see in the workforce. And that's why it's so different, is just because kids will self-police and they're not getting around each other like that anymore. And I think that that's really they're not taking risk. And then now the kids who've never taken risk are too afraid to ever take risk.
Right.
You see so many guys that are afraid to step up, and I see it all the time. You see a good hard worker, right? Somebody who really does work hard. They show up on time. They got a good attitude. But you say, hey, I want to get you on some equipment. Nope. I'm good. Yeah. They're scared. They don't want to because they're afraid of taking that risk. They're too afraid of screwing something up. And I don't know, man. That's just a fallacy of the new generation, I guess, with phones and screens and all that. And then you get a lot of people that they're addicted to these things. They can't stay off of them. And that's all they can think about. It's on their mind all day long. And, like we were saying, I mean, there are benefits to technology and all that. I'm not saying we should just totally get rid of this stuff, but it is very interesting to see the correlations of mental health degradation and smartphones. And it's wild.
And the kids know it. Being in the high school, I'll have kids talk about, I had one little girl, she was like, man, I wish I grew up in the 80s. And I was like, why? She said, well, I wouldn't have a phone. And I thought, you could not have a phone now. But her whole thing was like, I'm so addicted to this phone. Like, if it's not even in the same room as me, my anxiety goes way up, and about what am I missing? And so that actually led me, I always do something stupid for New Year's resolution. And that was mine 2 years ago, was I had to go one day every week, 24 hours during the week, no phone at all. And man, it was really frustrating in January, but by the time I got to July, I was kind of looking forward to it.
Are you still doing it?
No, I went the other route. I put a limit. So this year I'm doing 30 minutes of 30-minute phone time a day.
Like you put a limit on your phone or just social media?
Social media.
Okay.
And then,
yeah, that's what I've. So what do you use? Just the phone, the iPhone?
Yeah, you can just go in your settings and say, and it'll tell you have 5 minutes left or whatever.
Yeah, I've got that on mine too. The bad thing is it's too easy to.
Oh yeah, you can override it.
15 minutes.
Snooze, hit snooze.
Yeah, hit snooze. Yeah, that is nice though to have those limits. Yeah, because that was something my wife and I did in January. She did total no social media. I basically made it to where all I did was go on, post for Dirty and Driven, and get off. I wasn't responding to comments, DMs, wasn't scrolling. It just was make a post it, be done.
Right.
Yeah, he'd get in and just talk shit and then he'd get the fuck out of there. Yeah. And wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Just turn it off.
That's kind of my MO, dude. I'm really good at that.
Yeah. You don't have to reply.
Stir the pot.
But dude, yeah, and to have those limits, I can tell you, man, and I wish more people would do this, especially like surrounding the debate and surrounding the election. Dude, put the screens off. And to the boomers out there that are like, well, I'm not addicted to my phone. Yeah, but you're addicted to Fox News. Okay? Do you know how many fucking people I know that are in their 50s and 60s that, they go home. All they do is they turn on Fox News. They watch that shit all night long. It's the same thing. And it's hurting your health.
I see kind of the opposite. I see like the young kids can't get rid of or away from their phones, and then that 55 plus, they're always on their phones. At least the ones that are in my life.
Yeah,
like
they are.
It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. One of the best things you can do is go through and turn all the notifications off on like pretty much anything other than texting and the phone and like my calendar and stuff. Notifications are off, and I can't tell you how much my just mental health improved from that, because now you're not getting dinged and buzzed and this and that all the time.
Right.
It's just, I don't need to know every time somebody likes a picture on Instagram. I don't need to know every time somebody DMs me something to a story I post. I don't need to know that when it happens. I'll get on it at my allotted time, like you're saying, and I'll check it and we'll see it then. But we don't need that constant dopamine overload.
Yeah.
How do you know that your mental health was better?
Well, I haven't had as many nightmares about killing myself.
Okay.
So
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the gauge on? You know what? I got more clarity now that I haven't been on social media.
Dude, I can tell you on days, because there's days just for my job that I'm on my phone a lot. I'm just, either talking on the phone, on the computer all day, things like that. Those days, I'm drained, dude. Okay, like for example, this last Friday, I was out on the asphalt crew until 8 p.m. All right. It was, what should have been a a Kush, Pud Friday.
Yeah, it's always on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, all right, we're laying this cul-de-sac. We're laying this little side street. We're done, right? Easy day. Well, then a piece of road blew out once the truck started getting on it. Water was pumping. Finally, right, literally, if it would have held for one more truck pass, we'd have been home free. But this truck goes over it, blows it out. Shit, so we got to dig that thing out and patch it. And so now instead of being done at 3, it's 8 p.m. on a Friday. I got a crew that's pissed off. I want to go home. Can we? And our superintendent's gone, so that's why I'm out there, facilitating. And it was just like, well, stressful day, right? But I get home. I mean, I've been in the sun all day. It's 100 degrees. I'm hot. I'm tired. I'm ready to go jump in a pool or something like that. Go jump in a clean, undrinkable water. But
just scoreboarding the rest of the world.
Yeah, exactly. And go pee in that clean, undrinkable water. And
just splash a little out.
And I'm ready for that, but I'm not like just mentally drained. But dude, if I'm in the office all day on the phone, on the computer, not to mention like whenever I take breaks between taking calls and answering emails, I'm on social media doing the same shit. Your brain never gets a break from all that. And dude, it drains you. And you don't think clearly. If I'm on social media a lot, or if I'm like trying to have a conversation with someone while also on social media, my memory gets worse. Like if I put this thing away and I spend several hours off of it a day, my memory improves, my energy improves, and my overall mood improves because you're not just overloading yourself with dopamine. So I don't know.
The reason I went to the whole like taking a day off, I was went to go work out, and I love, Casey knows this about me, I love dirt roads and stuff. And not like Luke Bryan likes dirt roads, but like actually enjoy it. And I remember I had posted something on Facebook or something before I worked out, and on my way home, I like pulled up my phone and I was checking, like I'm just going like 4 miles per hour, but I was checking my phone, see if anybody liked my joke or whatever. And I looked over and there was a painted bunting. You know what a painted bunting looks like?
No.
It's a little bird. It is beautiful evening, perfect weather, sun setting, and a painted bunting about the size of a sparrow, but it looks like you melted a box of crayons. It's like blue and yellow and green. They're beautiful. And I thought I almost missed that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see who liked some, or checking the score of some game or whatever that I was so interested in, I didn't stay home to watch.
Dude, it's kind of like in that book I'm reading, Anxious Generation, it was talking about how people aren't getting that peace and relaxation from just enjoying the world. And I think that's why, like, I love the construction industry. Because if you're out on a site, I mean, you got to take phone calls and stuff like that, but you don't have time to be scrolling social media and doing all that. If you're running a piece of equipment, you're damn sure not on your phone.
Right.
I mean, unless somebody important is calling you relative to the job. I mean, because you've got to stop the machine to answer it a lot of times, because a lot of times you're using both hands. And so you're going all day long, just you and your thoughts, or, maybe you're listening to something and you're just going. If
listening
you're shoveling,
to the Dirty and Driven podcast.
Yeah, listening to the Dirty and Driven podcast. That's right. If you're
re-listening
shoveling
for the third time.
Yeah. Yeah. Going through all the episodes again, you poor souls. If you're shoveling, you're active, you're moving, and you're seeing stuff, and you're interacting as a team with coworkers, and it's a beautiful thing. Whereas if you work an office job and you're on your phone all day, you're so disconnected. Like, something that annoys me is if I'm out in nature, I'm at the lake, or I'm watching a sunset, or dude, I love scuba diving. That's one of my favorite things in the world. People who watch these things through their phone screen trying to take pictures. And in fact, like, I go diving a lot. I quit taking a camera with me underwater because I found myself just enjoying the dive through the camera lens. And
actually, Casey and I talked about this yesterday. Like, my oldest son, he's 23 now, but I realized I watched him grow up through a lens, and I wasn't present. I wish I could go back and just put the camera away. I'm not going to go watch that video again. What are the chances? Mm-hmm. And I could have just been there So I've made really an effort, especially with my other kids, to make sure that I'm not going to watch your cheerleading performance, on a phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. But actually, business idea there, like, how we have Uber and stuff. Why don't we have to where you can get online or whatever and get some guy to come film your kid's soccer game or whatever. Get a high school kid, pay him a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something like that, man. Or, even set a little stand up or something. It's because it's great. You want those memories to last forever, but in doing that, you're actually ruining the memory.
Right.
Because now you're watching it through a 6-inch screen versus just seeing it. And there's a collective consciousness. There's actually science behind this, and it's in that book I'm reading. And there's a collective consciousness. You can research collective consciousness all you want. That's why religion's so successful. That's why sports teams do so well. That's why things like group prayer and all that work, because human beings are able to have this collective consciousness where we're all together, we're all watching this thing, we're all thinking about this thing, we're all devoting our attention to this thing, and we are all connected through it in some sort of supernatural, spiritual way. Well, whenever you take it and everybody's like, if you're at a concert and everybody's got their phones up and you're watching this concert through your phone screen because you're trying to video it or put all of it on your Snapchat story, then like a psychopath, then you're actually disconnected. And that consciousness is gone now because you're all mentally not there. You're mentally in your phone screen, not at whatever the center of attention is.
I think that's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some small balance between being present, like you're saying. No, but I'm making a somewhat decent point here.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But to where, God dang it, dude, I wish I would have had video of whenever my dad and grandpa. I wish there was just a fucking picture, man.
Yeah.
Instead of it all being up here, just memories. I mean, yes, you want to be present.
Do you think it was better, like back in the day when we'd go out in college and stuff, you'd always get the disposable cameras.
Yeah.
Well, you can't take a bad picture because they cost money, like now we have the digital, so you can just take as many as you want.
100 and find that one.
But do you think you were more in that moment because you took those pictures because they were meaningful right then, not just because you could?
Yeah, and even those pictures back then, just a little click and then click, just.
Yeah. The reason you can't run for political office.
Oh, yeah, not me, man.
Yeah.
I got so much dirt on me from talking shit here and stuff I did in the past.
Hours. Well, I'm running for governor of Oklahoma in 20 years or so I'm sure that by then they'll have the technology to just listen to all of these podcasts and just sound clip the worst.
Oh, yeah. Deep fake.
I've said some off the wall stuff on this thing, man. Yeah. No, I mean, that's it, man. I mean, being present is so important. And I think that something that a lot of people fail at too, especially in the trades, is you get off work and now you're with your family and you're not present. You're on your phone. You're not paying attention to your kid. You're right here. You're home. You're looking at the TV screen. It's like, yeah, all right, I'm home an hour early, but I'm too tired to go play catch. I'm too tired to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to watch TV. And that's what a lot of guys do. And it's pretty pathetic.
Remember when we were young, like you wanted the biggest TV in the world, the bigger, the better. And now it's like everybody watches it on their their phone. Like it's unbelievable.
Well, I mentioned about kind of being present or making time the other day. Like, dude, I love fishing and golfing and stuff. And, I finally just took the little man out, to a pond and we went below the dam. And I was doing stuff that really, not only means a lot to me, but then he'll have memories when he gets older, right? Well, me and Debo just did that yesterday with his dad. We kind of celebrated a late Father's Day with his dad because Dustin's dad, Dale, has pretty much been a father to me, aside from my dad. So we did it yesterday. We were present. We actually went out and fucking did something that we loved, which is play golf. Mm-hmm. And we played shitty, but it was a great time. The only way we
know how.
It was a great time, and we just went out and did it. Instead of talking about it, we fucking did it.
That's awesome, dude.
And you got to get it. You got to stop talking about it. Just do it. Yeah. We're all busy. Like, fuck, I got to be here now. Maybe next time. Just do it.
Yeah. You'll always make time for what's important to you.
Yeah. I mean, that's something too. I mean, even like Okay. Now, I mean, like with Dirty and Driven, we get a lot of people talking to us online and all that. Dude, I love talking to people in the Dirty and Driven community. I mean, a lot of these people I consider friends now. I haven't met a lot of them in person, but I talk to a lot of people a lot. I mean, you and I, we message back and forth all the time, every week, a couple times a week, you know, but sometimes I've had to learn like, man, I got to just put that phone away, not respond anymore. And I need to actually sit here and talk to my wife or my friends that are sitting in this room right here with me, not just the people online, you know? So
Presence and purpose.
Presence and purpose. Well, hey guys, I think that was a great episode. I'm glad that we hit on something of value there at the end instead of just shitting in rivers and flipping off the rest of the world and peeing in pools. And I would just like to say that if you say that you don't pee in pools, I consider you a liar.
Do you pee in showers?
Oh yeah,
There you go.
yeah. Especially
Peeing into a pool is different than peeing in a pool, though.
yeah. Don't pee into the pool. That's weird. That's gross.
Yeah, good point.
You got to be in the pool to pee to be eligible. I never even thought about that, dude. If I saw somebody just whipping it out and pissing in the pool, I would be like, dude, what are you doing? But if you're in the pool, you're like, yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, this is your weekly reminder to get off your lazy ass, be present, and do something hard today.
Well, bye, guys.